All right, this is Mr. Poggio, and this is my claims, evidence, and reasoning for Module 26. Yeah, that's the right foot. No, switch feet, switch feet. Sorry, that's Melody. Yeah. And your claims, evidence, and reasoning for Module 26. You're going to pick a location for a water tower anywhere in the world. 2 weeks ago, we looked at freshwater sources, and you did a deep dive on maybe it was the Ganges, maybe it was the Amazon, maybe it was the Nile, maybe it was the Great Lakes, Mississippi River. We talked all about freshwater sources. We also talked about how water can be treated and cleaned. Specifically, we talked about Orange County water treatment in Fountain Valley and how we have a very unique system in Orange County with groundwater replenishment, and we even shoot water in the ground to prevent salt water from the ocean intruding. Yeah, careful the Band-Aid. So, oh, I got it. And then the week after, I asked you to build your water tower, and you got a chance to do it. That's Melody building. You got a chance to do it with straws, pipe cleaners, paper clips, and I ended up making a design myself. Showed you guys, looked a little something like that. I think I got to almost 3 feet. But this week we're doing our CER. You just put on the ground, Boo Bear. So, thank you. I got it. So, with my CER and with your CER, here's your possibility. Again, your driving question is, now that you understand water towers, can you explain or share one place in the world that could benefit from having a water tower and why? Well, I chose Buenos Aires, Argentina. No surprise. I know I talked to you guys a lot about Argentina because that's where my family's from. But I think it'd be a great place for a water tower due to its economic challenges, high population. It's also adjacent location of the Rio de la Plata, which is actually from connected to the Amazon. But to be specific, the province or the city just north of Buenos Aires called Campania. So remember, with evidence, you need to have links. So you need to be a little bit more specific with your evidence. But I think being able to share the value of Rio de la Plata and the fact that it is a huge water source that drains out from the Amazon into the Atlantic Ocean. Let's take advantage of that. My specific location, again, is in Campania, and I'll show you that on Google Earth in a second. And it's also collecting water from the Amazon upstream. There's my screenshot. If you take a look right up, here's the city of Campania, and I'll show you that in a second. So that's one of my pieces of evidence, is the actual location via Google Earth. And I think some of my reasoning has to do with its high poverty level and access to fresh water. It could help locals and poor communities, specifically farming communities, and it's free water. I mean, this water goes to the ocean anyways, so why not take advantage of it? Yes, it does have a lot of sediment. It actually looks kind of brown. It's pretty gross looking. I've seen it. But there's no reason why we can't take advantage of using that. In fact, it probably has higher mineral concentrations that may be beneficial for farmers. So farming in Las Pampas and other locations outside of Buenos Aires. So here's some link to more information about it. In fact, I have that wrong. It should be in my evidence. So one more time, this should be on the evidence side. Let's go take a look at Google Earth real fast. So the reason I chose this specific location had to do with, number one, the Paraná, which is a tributary. That tributary is a fancy way of saying like a lake or a river that comes off of somewhere else. Go ahead and click Launch Google Earth at the top, right there. And the Paraná, which leads to Rio de la Plata and comes from the Amazon, is a really rich water source, and there's no reason why we can't take advantage of that and build a water tower and create water pressure for a huge concentration of area that's just north of Buenos Aires. So again, give it a second. Google Earth does take some time to load, so be aware of that. You can see it right here; it's loading. Another consideration is elevation. So that specific area, Campania, I forget there's another city right next to just north of Campania, but that location is in higher elevation. And if you take advantage of the elevation and build your water tower higher upstream, you'll be able to provide water pressure for everybody below, hashtag thanks gravity. So as we're getting into Google Earth here finally, Let me show you Campania, just north of Buenos Aires. Sooner or later. Sooner or later. There we go. So on Google Earth, you could rotate, move Earth as you'd like, but I know Buenos Aires is right around there. Just keep double clicking and you'll get to zoom in more and more and more and more. You can see there is your Amazon. Um, that's obviously one of the largest rainforest systems in the world. But this water actually comes and spills out in a place called Iguazu, which is just a bit north. And if you go all the way in, we should be getting to Buenos Aires for my soccer fans. This is where River Plate and Boca Juniors play. River Plate from Rio de la Plata and La Boca from La Boca del Rio, which means like the mouth of the river, or kind of like the exit of the fresh water to the mouth of the ocean. So there's Buenos Aires, and you could actually see the difference of the concrete jungle, so to speak, because it is obviously impacted by human development and city life. But if you go just north, there's the city of Zarate. I think I'm going to be in between these two cities. They are still smaller cities just north that do have large populations of over 100,000 people each. And just in this location, right off the Paraná, right here, I think would be the perfect spot. And higher elevations to help out, number one, these two cities, but also take advantage of the Paraná River that will spill out eventually into the Atlantic. But also look at this farm community out here. There is so much farming that happens up in this region. Having a water tower would be so beneficial in times of drought and in other challenges when it comes to our fresh water distribution. So again, that's Mr. Poggio, and this is my Module 26 CER, Claims, Evidence, and Reasoning, on why I think the town of, or the city of Campania and Zarate would be a perfect location, probably somewhere around up here, for a water tower. Thanks. See you in class. Mr. Poggio.